What's up guys, I'm Sean. Today we're going to be changing the diff fluid on my 2009 BMW 335i. This is the tool you need, 14mm hex bit socket.
I have a 6 series fin diff cover. That's why my diff looks a little bit different than typical 335 diffs. 14mm hex bit socket. We're going to loosen this with a 1/2 inch drive, and then I'm going to jack up the front of the car, have a little bit of fluid drain from the rear, and then I'm going to use a suction pump to suck out more of the rear diff fluid. No fluid is coming out right now because the rear end is lifted, but once I jack up the front, a little bit of the fluid is going to drain out.
Was have the rear end on ramps, loosen that 14mm hex bolt, jacked up the front end, just so I can have more fluid drain out, be a little bit easier for me to pump. Then I'm going to lower the front end onto the jack stands to even out the car. See, so I just lowered the front end onto the jack stands to make the car about level front to the rear with my ramps. For the suction tool I'm using, you can pick up anywhere, Harbor Freight. You want to wiggle around the hose a little bit to make sure that it's able to suck up some of the fluid. So now with the diff pumpkin basically empty and the car leveled, the front's on jack stands, the rear's on ramps, I'm going to fill it up with the Moto 300 gear oil. This is what's recommended by WaveTrack for the WaveTrack LSD. The BMW recommends about 1.5 liters, but you basically want to fill it up and until you start to see it drain out a little bit. So let's get to it. If the car's leveled and the fluid drains out, then that means there's enough fluid in there. So you can see the fluid draining out, which basically means that there's enough fluid. The new fluid is topped off. You see that it stops to drip. That means there's enough fluid in there. I'm going to tighten this bolt back to 44 foot-pounds with my torque wrench. Then you want to wipe everything down. And you're pretty much done.